I gotta get me a bag, steady type of cash on my bro and that same shit. No, I don't fuck with no lame bitch, can't even fuck on the same shit. I heard your shit in the swag, that shit is so sad, put in work at that basement. I charge you double that payment.
Hello everybody, it is your boy Emrys here, back at it again with another video. Alright, as y'all can see, today's What If is going to be part 2 of What If Deku was Rimuru's reincarnation. If y'all do enjoy this, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if y'all are new, and just tell me what y'all think about this video in the comments. So yeah, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to thank y'all for all the love that y'all been giving me on the channel, all the support that y'all been giving me. My What If Luffy was Aizen is already at 1,000 views, and I thank y'all so much for that, because that is amazing, and how fast that y'all have been actually able to accumulate to the channel and actually been supporting it ever since the big purge that I did. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video that explains all of that. I'll put that down in the description, or you guys can just go check out the video alone like that. But yeah, just thank y'all for all of that support. If y'all wouldn't mind, go check out the link in the description. You guys can see the link to the Discord if y'all want to join the community. Y'all also see a link to my gaming channel. And I already posted a episode 1 for a Let's Play series, so y'all can go check that video out if y'all want to. And also, in the comments below, I want to make like a anime review, like manga review, like character review, whatever kind of channel, and I want to know what y'all would think about that. On that channel I would actually show my face, so if y'all want to see my face, that would be a way to see it. But tell me with that, but without further ado, let's get into the video. So the 10 months would start. All of the things would technically be very different, since Deku is quite literally just chilling with Bakugo, doing all of the things that they're doing for their gang, still completely being hidden figures in a sense. No one knows who they are. Everyone just addresses Deku as Rimuru, and Bakugo as Valdora, specifically because Deku, yes, he is Rimuru, reincarnation, yes. So he said Bakugo is my best friend in this world, and I want to pay homage to Valdora in some way, since he was my best friend in the previous one. He was a brother to me. So Bakugo being like this, I figured, who else would I choose to give this name to? As he would just be like, alright, and Bakugo's always wondering exactly where this name came from, and just Deku would always just be like, it came from a friend that I used to know. He's gone now, but I can't think of anyone else that would be deserving of getting a moniker like this. As Bakugo would just say, thanks boss. As Deku would just be like, alright, let's get going. As they would start doing all of their work, I can't explain exactly what they do, because they're technically both heroes and villains in what they do. They work for both sides, helping out both sides. They're a well-known gang. No one knows who they are. They just know that the names and the monikers that they do go as. And everyone just seems to think that they're just the neutral party. Villains and heroes understand them as neutral. If whoever needs help will get it. As yeah, this would technically be Deku's main focus during the 10 months, since he knows he doesn't have any reason to train for the entrance exam. He helps Bakugo a lot, and since he's technically been able to imbue Bakugo with like a few skills that he could just somehow be able to do. He doesn't know how he was able to imbue Bakugo with some of these just regular skills from his old world, but he managed to do it. Most of these were just fire skills and a few lightning skills, just because if he has the technical abilities to make explosion, he should be able to use some lightning abilities that Rimuru picked up over the years. And yeah, so Bakugo's gotten strong. He's way stronger, and he's at least at the moment barely under All Might. And I mean barely under. So if they went on one-on-one, All Might full health without any injuries, All Might Bakugo's right there. And I say that because Deku will end up healing All Might in the near future. So yeah, during that 10 months, that's what they're mainly focused on. Bakugo's usually with his mom, helping her out. Yeah, doing all of that same exact thing. But yeah, so we get to the point that we're around 7 months in, and Deku and Bakugo are just walking around, hanging out, acting like normal kids because that's what they are. So they're just hanging out. This is outside of gang time, and they're just doing whatever they normally be doing. And they actually end up running into All Might. Well, they end up running into a villain on their way, and Deku just literally flicks his hand. The villain just hits the wall because Deku really wasn't in the mood for this. And he holds it down for at least like a few minutes and literally just puts it onto his knees and just says, "Leave me alone." The villain just says, "Who do you think you are?" And Deku's just like, "Someone you don't want to mess with." But All Might would eventually get there. And he would just be like, "I am here. No need to worry because I am here." And Deku's just like, All Might, nice to see you again." And All Might's just like, young Midoriya. What's it been, 7 months? As Deku's just like, "I'm surprised you remember who I am." And All Might's like, "After the abilities that you showed me, of course I remembered. I've been actually looking for you." And Deku would just be like, "What for?" As All Might would take the villain to prison, well, jail, to the police, and he would have asked Deku to wait so they could talk. And All Might would come back. Deku would still be there with Bakugo, and All Might just like, "This is something I would like to talk to in secret." And Deku's like, "If you want to tell me, tell him. I trust him with every secret that I can ever hold, and I know he's never gonna say anything." And All Might's like, to have this kind of trust in someone is very rare. But okay. As they would go somewhere private, All Might would explain what One for All is, and he would explain that after seeing the abilities that he's done both of these occasions, he would want Deku to take on One for All. As Deku would just be like, "Yeah, I've thought about trying to see if I could use a quirk, but yeah, after like get some good consideration, I said hell no." And All Might would just be like, "Now, why? May I ask why no?" As Deku would just say like, "All Might, hands down, without me trying, I am stronger than you. There is literally no debate in this. I could beat you with my eyes closed, completely handicapped with one arm, and most likely I can beat you with a pinky." And almost like harsh, but I you could possibly be right after all of the abilities that I've seen. And I know you said you don't use every single one of your abilities, and Deku's just like, "Just believe me, you wouldn't be able to take me on in an actual full-on fight, even if you were at full power, because I could tell you have an injury." And Alma would just be like, "How can you tell that?" And Deku would just be like, "Well, a few years ago, your time of doing hero business went from around every single day, for a majority of the day, to now around 3 hours, give or take, per day." And Alma's like, "Yeah, so you noticed." And Deku's just like, "Yeah." And Bakugo would just be like listening in, and he's just like nodding around. He understands everything that Deku was talking about because Bakugo is extremely smart. So Alma would just be like, "So if you don't want this quirk, anyone that you can consider, maybe even your friend Bakugo here?" And Deku would just be like, "Bakugo, you want it?" Bakugo would say, "Yeah, not a chance." And Alma would just say, "Now, why would you say no?" And Bakugo would just be like, "At the moment, from what Deku has said over here, I'm pretty sure if you were at full strength, I'm right under you. And I'm only, what, 15? By the time I completely grow up, I will be way stronger than you could ever be in your prime. So not really much point for me to boost myself that much. And that's kind of a cheat, so I'm just going to leave that alone. But um, I'm actually going to tell Deku to do something." As Deku would just be like, "Okay, what do you want?" And Bakugo would wielder's abilities, and that's it. He left everything else. He left, but he didn't take all every single one. He literally just took enough that he could use them and completely master them, but still left All Might the chance and capability to use them himself. And then he said, also, I can heal you, so you don't have to ask anyone to take your quirk from you. And All Might's like, how's that even possible? And Deku's just like, I've been working, I'm extremely smart, so that's how it's possible, and I've been working on different things through my entire life to work on healing people or healing the sick, and All Might's like, if you can, that would be amazing, that would be wonderful. And I'm guessing that, how long would it take? And Deku would just be like, give me a sec. As he would just literally use Beelzebub to bring something out from him, and it would be a potion. And Deku would just be like, drink this. In about 10-15 seconds, it should start affecting, and you might feel a little weird for about like a minute or so, but that's just gonna be your body healing. As All Might would drink it, and exactly as Deku would said, about a minute later, he would start feeling a little weird, a little janky, and he would actually start feeling his body heal. About like 2 minutes later, he would be completely healed, like back to his prime. And Deku was just like, there you go, you should be about good right now. As almost like, oh my god, I feel amazing. And almost like, thank you Midori, thank you, young Midori. And Deku would just be like, yeah, no problem, All Might. The most I could do for all the people that you felt in your life, and the fact that I did manage to take some of your a few percentage of your abilities. And All Might just says, after what you just did, I wouldn't even mind just giving you everything, but thank you. As Bakugo would just say, now that you have some of his abilities, well, you could literally just give some to me and you keep even some to yourself. And like, Deku's like, I knew that's exactly what you were thinking. And Bakugo's like, hey, we're gonna get powerful anyways, and you're already too overly powered, so what's the problem just giving a few of the abilities to me? And Deku's like, yeah, you forget I know how you think. I knew you were gonna plan this from the start, so here you go. As he would just touch on Bakugo and somehow manage to transfer some of the abilities to Bakugo, because I'm just gonna say he can do this, because why not? It's Rimuru at this point. Why can't he do anything that he feels like? So that's what he would do. He would gain a few of the abilities, some of Black Whip, some of Float, some, like, he would just gain a few of those abilities, and he's able to use some of them automatically, but he just has to learn how to control and master them. And he can actually connect to some of the spirits, and they're completely wondering how this is even possible, as Deku can too, and All Might can too, and he's actually starting to be able to, he's going to be able to use some of those abilities too, since Deku quite literally just unlocks the door for All Might to be able to use them one for all to its fullest potential. As so we would get to the point of 3 months later. Deku and Bakugo were trained with all of these new abilities. It literally took Deku days to master all of them. It took Bakugo about the rest of those 3 months, and All Might was actually training with them just because Deku, for some reason, was able to master these abilities quicker than he was, so he figured that, why not just try working with the person that literally helped save his life and save his hero career. Because, yeah, those injuries might not have been able to kill All Might, but they still were injuring him quite a bit. So, Deku would just be like, yeah, no problem, All Might. And at this point, All Might can use Black Whip, he can use Float, he can use almost all of the abilities to a reasonable extent, and he's getting extremely stronger by the day. And people have noticed that All Might's using some new abilities that they've never seen from him, and All Might's just saying his quirk has truly activated, and people know what this means, because I'm just going to say, in this world, your quirk has 2 stages, your normal quirk, and then eventually when it gets strong enough, it completely, something like awakens. And I'm just going to say that this is in existence because I don't feel like having to re-explain to the world why All Might's quirk is changing so rapidly and adding new abilities that no one's ever seen. So I'm just gonna say this is the reason, and that's gonna be Bakugo's explanation too for why his abilities is changing. And I'm just gonna say Deku's quirk awakened years ago, but he just learns new abilities like it's literally a plague. So yeah. We get to the UA entrance exam, and once we get there, All Might's literally said that they don't even need to take it, but they really just want to do it just to show off how strong they are. As he would just they would do the written exam. Deku wouldn't fall, so he would meet Uraraka. They would do the written exam. They would ace it. And I mean ace it. Both of them are so smart that they literally just did so much. They both got hundreds. They both passed every question that Nezu was trying to test them on, and Deku barely got outscored Bakugo. He might have gotten hundreds, but there were a few extra questions there, extra credit points that Nezu had just to play around, and Bakugo missed those, but Deku didn't. And yeah, during the rest of those 3 months though, they still were working on their gang. They were growing members. At this point, their gang is one of the stronger members, and it has heroes and villains that can technically help out with them. And All For One knows that this group exists, and he's actually been looking for Deku for quite a while because he's heard how strong Rimuru's quirk is. And from earlier in the video, I said that I was gonna just make his hero name Tempest, but his gang name Tempest, but yeah, since that's his group name, the Tempest Federation, whatever. But I'm just gonna call him Rimuru just for the sake of it, because I already have what his hero name's gonna be. So we get into all of that. All For One is looking for Deku just so we could try taking his quirk, but since Deku's quirk is not completely a quirk, he can't do anything, and Deku's quirk Rimuru's abilities are literally tied into his soul, so it's literally impossible to take them in the first place. So yeah, we get to the actual part where President Mike's explaining everything. Deku and Bakugo are literally just chilling with their feet up, not doing anything and not a care in the world. And Ida's over here just like, what are they doing? They're literally talking to each other, and President Mike knows who these kids are because they've actually came to visit UA on a few occasions with All Might during the last 3 months. All Might gave them a tour. All Might literally was just telling them all about UA. They met the big three, and All Might said that these three, literally has said that these two kids are stronger than both of you combined. Well, all three of you combined, and them hearing this would really wanted to have sparred with Bakugo and Deku, but I say you'll get the chance later on. And President Mike has met them on a few occasions, so since they were the first ones in, they talked to President Mike for a good little bit, and then they just sat down, fell asleep, and then woke up a little later, started talking, and President Mike really didn't care too much since he knows that they understand everything, and they're not speaking loud enough to disturb everyone, but Ito was just on everyone's ass for no reason, so he would just look back, start yelling and saying, "Why are y'all talking? Don't you understand that people are over here trying to listen to President Mike?" And Deku and Bakugo would just stand up simultaneously, and they would just say, "What did you just say?" And then Ito would just be like, "I know you heard what I said. Stop talking so we can actually understand what he's saying." And Deku would just start walking towards Ida and just look right at him, because I'm just gonna say Deku's taller, because Rimuru it's too tall, but I'm just gonna say that him being in this universe kind of changed his height. He's on the taller side at the moment, so he's around like 6'2". I'm only saying this because why not? This is my what if, so I'm just gonna make this whatever it feels like. And I'm just gonna say Bakugo's also a little taller. He's around like 6 foot, barely shorter than Deku, and he's around the same, about an inch taller than Ida. And Bakugo's still back there because he doesn't feel like dealing with Ida. And Deku would just be like, "Kid, well, you, whatever your name is, leave me the fuck alone. I'm not in the mood for your BS. And sit your ass down before I do it for you. As he would just walk and turn around, and President Mike would just be like, damn, that was a little ruthless, but okay, I guess. As Io would just be like, are you just gonna let him talk to me like that? And President Mike would just be like, it was your fault for interrupting everyone more than they were. They were at least talking at a reasonable level so everyone else could understand. You were just trying to nag on them for no reason, and they already know exactly what's going to be going on, so I was allowing them to do that. We literally talked about it before you got here. As Ito would just be like, literally just shut down and just sit down. And we would get to the point where we actually get to the robot exam. And Deku and Bakugo are on different fields because All Might knew not to let them in the same field, because that would be a method for catastrophe. As All Might did suggest Nezu do one thing. For each field, put at least 10 0-pointers down at the exact same time. Nezu was like, why in the hell would you do that? Those kids aren't going to be able to handle it. And I would just say, let's just say that there's two kids, there's one kid on each of these fields that will probably be able to take these down without even a hesitation. And if I'm being honest, the kid on field A, you should, if you could, make it 50. But Nezu was like, yeah, that's a little too much, and I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll do 10 just because I respect your reasoning, and I trust you that at least one of the kids will be able to take care of them. And Alma would just be like, yeah, that's your loss. You won't be able to see what he's truly capable of. I told him that he didn't have to apply with the entrance exam. I would have really literally just gotten him in himself if I could have shown him to you earlier. He said he didn't want to meet you until after this, so all you teachers get a bullseye view on what kind of monster this kid truly is. As those gates would open, Deku would literally just walk in slowly. Ito would be looking back, seeing this kid not even doing anything, and Deku is literally just still walking, not putting. Bakugo and Deku are doing the exact same thing. And they would finally get into action mode, and I mean, at the exact same time. And if people are looking, All Might has the cameras focused on them both in both of their different fields. And there's literally not a split-second difference. And they're like, how's that even possible? How could they both move at the exact same time if they can't even see each other? And it's literally just because they had already planned this all out while they were talking. They knew exactly what they were planning on doing. They said, walk for around 10 seconds, get little past the gate, and then at that 10-second marker, run it. And they started at the exact same time. As soon as the gates open, count to 10 and start walking. And then as soon as you get to 10, zoom. And that's exactly what they did. And I'm telling you, as soon as they started running, they gave everyone a head start just to at least get one robot, because they knew as soon as they started, they weren't letting anyone touch another robot. And they literally, that's exactly what they did. They started zooming around both of those fields, just zip, zap, zop out of there. And I'm telling you, it was literally hilarious for everyone else. They were saving people, killing the robots that they were going against. Each Bakugo wasn't fast enough to get every single one, so few people did get some, so Bakugo was lagging behind Deku since they were literally making a competition. And Deku wasn't literally letting anything slide against him. Not one person got another point after he started running around. And he was literally saving people, saved Oraka on a few occasions, and then he just started keep zooming around. And he got a lot of hero points. He got every single villain point or robot point after everything had started. and he started truly going at it. Well, not even full speed. He just went like at a quarter speed at that point, because he really is just extremely damn fast for no absolute reason. But yeah, so he's really just chilling out. And eventually Nezu would say, alright, time for the 0-pointers. He would bring 10 down on each field. And Baku would see them, and he would just start using, what is it called? Black Whip. And float at the exact same time, start floating. Start zooming right to the 0-pointers and yeeting them all, breaking them all into pieces. And making sure that no one got injured, so he literally did it perfectly. He would also use some of his lightning just to completely melt them down as they were coming down, so they wouldn't hurt anyone. And going to Deku's field, he absorbed every single one of the 0-pointers at the exact same time, and then brought them all out in one spherical ball, completely compressed down, because he somehow, All Might didn't even know he could do that. Deku did, because like these are his abilities, and Nezu was just like, okay, I don't understand what just happened, but these kids are in no matter what. Aizawa was looking, and he was like, these kids are monsters. Oh my, what have you done? And All Might's just like, these kids are the ones that healed me. And Nezu was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, that makes perfect and total sense. So alright, yeah, they're in. Deku and Bakugo were like, yeah, we're in. And they were literally counting on how many robots they destroyed and how long it took them to do it. And they would get home, they would get to their gang meetup, one of their gang meetups, and just start ordering everything around, figuring out everything that they're doing for the day, everything that's happened through the week, figuring out like who needs help when, what hero needs help this week, and just doing all of the things that they're doing. And they just literally meet up with a few villains, meet up with a few heroes, get everything settled in their job, get paid. And at this point, Deku's making at least 100k a year. Well, 100k a month, to be honest, because their group isn't cheap. So they're literally over here just chilling, doing everything that they can because they got the money. And Deku doesn't pay taxes, obviously, so he literally just, he might get around for tax evasion, but he's still a kid, so they can't really do many things since he wouldn't have to pay taxes anyway, that he's never going to plan to, because no one's strong enough to really stop him. And he's thinking about whether he should, just because he wants to stay on the straight and narrow, but he's already helping villains, so it doesn't really matter too much. Literally an hour later, All Might would come by at Deku's place, because Deku has his own house where him and Bakugo usually hang out, and All Might would just be like, yeah, y'all got in, and could y'all explain to me something? And Deku and Bakugo would just be like, yeah, what? How did y'all both start at the exact same time? As Deku and Bakugo would just explain, yeah, we had a kind of race, and we literally set up while we were talking earlier, exactly when we would start, how we would start, and exactly how to just play every teacher. And almost just like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. See you in 2 weeks, some kids. As All Might would leave, and he would just say, these kids are gonna kill me one day. These kids are gonna give me a heart attack one of these days. As All Might's just like, good thing they fixed my heart, so I don't have to worry about that. So Deku and Bakugo would go home. Deku would go to sleep, and 2 weeks later, they would head to school. As Deku would be one of the last ones there because he woke up late. Bakugo would just be like, of course you did. And Deku would just transform into his slime form, into his slime state, because he's still tired, so he wants to get some more sleep. And Aizawa would eventually wake up. Aizawa would literally wake up around right after Deku turned into his slime state, and Aizawa would just be like, alright, everybody, get into your go downstairs into the locker room and get into your gym clothes, and all the students would just be asking, "What about the assembly?" And Bakugo would literally stand up right as everyone's just over here arguing about the assembly and everything, and he would just go back, grab Deku in his slime form, and just start heading down. And as I was just like, "You're the kid that got second place in the entrance ceremony." As Bakugo was just like, "Yeah," and he would literally just show as I was the slime, and he would just say, "This is the guy that got first place." And as I was just like, "What do you mean that's the guy that got first place?" And Bakugo would just nudge Deku on the head, and Deku would just be like, "What?" And Bakugo would just say, "Turn back into your normal form." Deku would just jump up, turn back into his normal form. He has blue hair. He looks exactly like Rimuru. And as I was like, "I didn't know you could do that. Cool trick, kid." As Deku would just be like, Eraserhead, nice to see you." As Eraser is like, "Have we met?" As Deku was like, "No, not yet, not officially, but I have a friend that has met you on a few occasions." Because Aizawa has came to the Tempest Federation for a few occasions, just whenever he needed some help with a villain that he was trying to track down, or anything that he was just trying to do. Because yeah, they might help villains, but they also help heroes, and almost every hero knows about them and has came to for their help at least one point. Whether they just needed some hero gear, some hero tech, because Deku's smart enough and is literally capable of making almost any kind of hero tech anyways, so they literally just do all of that. And as I was just like, "Now what friend would this be?" And Deku's just like, "You'll figure that out on a later date." As I was just like, "Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother thinking too much into it." Yeah. So he would really just be chilling during this entire time, not thinking too much about anything that's going on. Really just playing around, getting it. They would get into the locker room. They would start changing it. Deku's body is just extremely ripped. It's like muscle toned definition everywhere, and all of the other guys would see this and look at Bakugo too, looking almost the exact same, his muscle definition, and they would just be like, "Do you guys work out?" And like Bakugo would just be like, "Yeah, we exercise every day, and we like to keep our bodies in shape." And he or she would just be like, "That's a little more than in shape." And Bakugo was like, "Yeah, but him over here likes to just do a lot of working out and moving, and so it kind of just comes in the job." Todoroki would look at Deku and he would just be like, we saw the clip of your entrance exam on the internet, since the teachers showed it off, showing on how strong one of their recruits would be for UA." And Todoroki would just be like, "No, kid, no, I can't believe that you're this strong." And Deku's just like, "Well, believe it, you saw it, so I'm not gonna bother explaining it." As Todoroki just be like, depending on how strong you are, and how strong both of you are, and the fact that y'all both went to the same school, I'm guessing y'all are good friends. And so now that I know, could I possibly be your friend?" Because Todoroki's over here like, if anyone was this strong, he was just like, "I gotta be this kid's friend." And Deku's just like, "Yeah, why not? You're the son of Endeavor, right? I don't like your father much, but knowing that you were raised by him and you're actually trying to become friends, I'll allow it." And Todoroki's just like, "Now why don't you like my father? He's a number 2 hero." As he's just like, one of my friends has met him on a few different occasions whenever he needs help with something, and his personality just is very irking, to say the least. As Todoroki's just like, "One of your friends, huh? Who would this friend happen to be?" And Deku's just like, just someone that I've known for a very long time." And Todoroki's like, yeah, vague but okay. They would get outside. They would, as I would just give Deku the ball, and he would just say, throw this without using your quirk. And Deku would just be like, yeah, alright. He would throw it. It would go 1,000 meters. As I would just be like, I said without using your quirk. As Deku said, that is without using my quirk. That's my base strength. As I've always said, 1,000 meters is your base strength? What the fuck? Ain't no way. And Deku would just be like, yeah, I work out. As and Deku would just say like Bakugo's max is around 750. And Aizawa would just be like, alright, throw it with your quirk. And Deku would just be like, since you gave me another ball, I'm guessing you have a lot. As I was just saying, like, yeah. Alright, Deku was just like, good, because you're not getting this one back. Ever. And as I would just be like, what do you mean? As he would start using his full entire strength, like kids would start seeing like some energy start coming off of him. And he would throw that ball and it would be yeeted out of the atmosphere. It would be gone. And Deku would just be like, told you. And he, as I would look at this thing, and the thing would just say error, not calculatable, infinity and beyond. And as I would just be like, yeah, I'm not even gonna bother. Okay. And then Bakugo go next with the throwing, and his would go around right under the atmosphere. It would come right back down, yeah, but like Aizawa would just look at that and say, to orbit and back. And he would just say, you know what, okay. Then Oraka, and she would get infinity, but Aizawa wouldn't be too surprised since she has a float quirk. Well, a zero gravity quirk, so that it going all the way up is just like, not too surprising. But those kids doing that with bare strength is a little terrifying. As we would go through all of the other things, Bakugo and Deku would get first place and second place on every single event. The jumping event, seeing how high you can jump, Deku gets technically infinite because he can fly, or he at least can create wings. So as I was just like, you know what, yeah, I'm done. You get first place for every event, no matter even the events you haven't taken yet. And you get second for even the events you haven't taken yet. And they only literally just did those 2-3 events because the flying, the jump, the throw, and the grip test. And then as I would just say, yeah, you guys get first and second place for every single event. And everyone else, do it. No one's getting expelled, because with these two kids here, there's not even a fair chance that anyone gets anything else. And Todoroki's just like, what in the world are these people? But this is one way to leave it off. This was supposed to be a little longer, but I got to do other things. It's 5:43 a.m. I still haven't gone to sleep yet, and I still need to record a few more what ifs for the day. So yeah, all right. Peace.